Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Gripe. This is take 2. The first take, the internet was not so hot, so we had to start this over. No big deal. We did manage to talk about a couple of things, but we're going to start all that over again. We're going to welcome Dinah to the show today.
Hello.
She is here instead of Adam. And one thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to be talking about money. And the reason we're going to be talking about money is we just went out and filled our cars with gas. So now we're broke. So Dinah decided to talk about ways to
Save money at the gas pump, and maybe if you got a lot of debt, ways to consolidate that to save money, mostly on the interest charges.
Okay. Also, I should say that the screen door is open and the dogs are loosed, so you might see a couple of puppies running around outside. And if there's noise outside, you'll probably hear it, but let's not pretend like that's rare. Usually we have someone mowing their grass or something like that, so we'll just do the best we can, and maybe it'll be entertaining. Who knows? One thing I want to talk about, I'm going to be talking about investing, and a disclaimer, we know nothing about investing, so I'm just basically going to be reading what the websites, I have a couple of websites here. I have nerdwallet.com and...
Well, that's what I've got, NerdWallet, for consolidating.
Immunity.org, and I'm just going to be basically telling you what they say, because I guess we'll just learn together. And this is a topic that we certainly can revisit in the future if someone wants to come on and talk about it, or if you just want us to go into more detail. We're pretty good with our money, but there's always room for improvement. And I know a lot of people are scared of investing, or they think that it takes tons of money, so we'll get into that and see if that's the truth or not. One thing I do want to talk about real quick, because we had mentioned it on the podcast before, and that is one of my favorite places of all time, Noah's Lost Ark. Give me 1 second to bring it up. They had put a post on Facebook today, so you're always welcome to go to Facebook and check out Noah's Lost Ark. It's Noah's Lost Ark Animal Rescue Center. And give me 1 second for the page to load. And they shared this, and I wanted to go, just mention it, because I remember we talked about them before in the past. PETA had targeted them and called them a roadside zoo. And I really strongly urge people to go out there and see. If you just go out there and just talk to people and see the animals, you'll see what I mean. They are not a zoo. They are a sanctuary that gives animals a place to live out their lives, that opens to the public to a degree. You can go and see the animals. You can't pet them. You can just kind of see them. You can feed some of them. And, of course, they do that for money. It doesn't take a lot of imagination to really think about how much money it takes to feed huge cats and all the different types of cats they have, and bears and wolves, deer. They have all kinds of animals. So they need to make money somehow. They also, in my personal opinion, have one of the best merchandise lines I've ever seen. These guys have, we're talking coffee cups, shirts, puzzles, calendars. Man, they've got all kinds of merchandise. Really super cool stuff, high quality too. I just can't rave enough about them. I absolutely love this place. And I really, truly believe that they're good people. They treat the cats and the animals well. I just don't see them being bad. All the animals get veterinary care. All of that costs money. So, yes, it is open to the public, but it's not a frickin' zoo. They do not breed the animals. With that being said, okay, here's the post they shared 11 hours ago. It says, please share, good morning. We would like to announce that we will be opening this year, May 15th, 2022. Now, they were closed the last 2 years for COVID, so they do have some restrictions. It says visiting restrictions will be determined as well. Hours and prices will be announced later this week. We are going to be doing everything to protect the animals. We will not be offering guided tours at this time, as we are also very short-staffed. Duh. Oh, and they say as rest of the country. We are hiring. For the first time in a long time, we're accepting volunteers. You will not be working around the big cats because you will be eaten.
Does it actually say that?
No, but I'm just saying that. Big cats will kill you and eat you. If you want to apply by calling this phone number, 330-55... Call this number, 547. Sorry about that. Let me take a deep breath, and we'll do this correctly. 330-584-7835. You call them up, ask them how you can become a volunteer or a paid member, because I do know they need some like landscaping and people who have experience with horses, brushing and such. So check them out. And again, I urge you so much, even if you're just curious to know what it's all about and why I don't like PETA, Go out there. Just find out for yourself. You don't get around the cats. It's not like the big cats are going to eat you or the bear. All that stuff is locked up and is completely safe. And you'll see real quick just what a special place this is. If I'm not mistaken, every animal they have, there's a plaque on their cage telling you, how they get the animal and why they rescued the animal and stuff like that. And you'll see it's very special. Some of these cats would have died if they wouldn't have gotten a hold of them. They take very good care of the animals. So just wanted to give another shout out to them. I think you can see our dogs running around behind us, but yeah, they're out there playing. But anyways, so yeah. So enough about that.
Wow.
I know you heard that. All right. Anyways.
All right. Don't make eye contact with them.
Another one of these days we are going to do a podcast with our doggies. We have to work out the details on that, but that will be happening. We're going to find a way to put our little dogs in the cast so you can check them out. Okay, now on to the next topic. Oh, look at that. See, we haven't dropped a single frame yet.
Oh, that's very good, Dave.
I don't know why anybody cares. Anyways.
Yeah.
So,
it might be that one.
Yeah, that one person who cares about all those drop frames. So you want to start?
Sure. All right. So how do you save money at the gas pump? Years ago, I managed a gas station for 15 years. That was when gas was going up to $2 a gallon, went to $1 a gallon. And I used to have to go out there. And actually, I took somebody with me for protection. Oh, seriously. I was out there changing. It's when you had that big...
I'm going to kill you. You raised it to $2.
All the poles with, well, never mind. I was going to say I was in Canton, but sure. Anyway,
No,
I'm out there.
I make fun of Canton constantly.
I'm out there with the suction cups changing it to $2, and I swear to God, people are going down. It was a main street, Lincoln Way, and they're going down the road just screaming at me, and I had somebody out there with me. Anyway.
Guy with a shotgun.
Well.
I'll kill you.
So anyway, so people used to call at the gas station, oh, how much is your gas today? Well, we were forbidden to tell them. It was like a big secret. So nowadays you got apps that'll tell you what the gas prices is. You can put in your area, how many miles you want to drive, and they'll give you all the prices listed. So I don't have any of those, but I went to U.S. Consumer Report, U.S. News and Consumer Report. They recommend Gas Buddy. You can download it onto Android or iPhone. It's the most well-known and most used. It's been around since 2000.
And it basically just tells you what the gas prices are?
Yep, in your area you can put like 5-mile radius. Now, my question is, so if you don't have a smartphone and you can't do that, of which I know 2 family members that still have flip phones, you also can do your gas station loyalty program. Like I drive the same way to work, driven that way 20 years. I go past the same gas station every day. So they run specials. For instance, in February, every time you bought a cup of coffee, you got 3 cents off a gallon. Well, I like their coffee. I get a coffee there every day. So by the end of February, I had 40 cents off a gallon of gas.
Nice.
So that was good. I've never used any of the apps. They recommend Gas Buddy, Gas Guru, Waze, W-A-Z-E. AAA's got one called Trip Tick Travel Planner.
Again, these are apps that you download and...
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, smartphone apps.
And they're all free.
Do they have websites, do you know of?
I do not think so. They're just apps. You go to the Google Play Store or the iPhone Play Store. Okay. Yeah, so MapQuest has one and Get Upside.
Get Upside?
Yeah.
Boy, they need to work on that name.
I know. Well, that was at the bottom of the list.
That's something you say when you're trying to talk to someone and you fall up steps. Do you need to get upside?
So anyway, so nowadays you can download an app. You can go find which gas. Only thing you got to ask yourself is it worth driving 10 miles out of your way to save 2 cents a gallon?
Well,
when I worked at the gas station, we had it somehow figured mathematically. If gas was under 5 cents less one place to another, it wasn't worth driving out your way. So that's up to you. Me, I like driving the same way every day. They have specials. I know a lot of people I know use the Get Go, a Giant Eagle, and you can get up to like 50.
I caution you on that, though. I think Get Go gas is really, really bad gas. And if you have a car you care about, I would definitely do some research real quick on the internet, because last I had heard, a mechanic, this was years ago, a mechanic of mine, friend of mine said, don't use that gas. It's actually really bad. But you're not wrong. There's BJ's has its own gas. Sam's Club has its own gas. Those are a little cheaper than some of the mainstream ones. But I think the main part is just look around. Like I said, I know it sucks to have a card for every single place you stop, but if it does build up, then you can get some gas fairly cheap.
The only thing you got to do with those, like at the gas station I go to, you have to watch, and they have an app, or you can go to their website, see what your rewards are, what you got left. You got to make sure you use them before they expire. The gas station I go to, they usually expire at the end of the month. Like, they had a birthday thing, you got 10 cents off a gallon of gas during your birthday month. So
another thing is, if you think about it, most everybody nowadays uses the cards at the grocery stores.
Yes.
The Giant Eagle card and the Walmart. I don't know if Walmart has one, but anyways, I mean, we all kind of got used to that. So it's kind of the same thing. If it saves you money, it might be worth the effort to just get it started and then stick that card in the machine before you stick your payment card in there, or you stick something else in there. But still, it just might be worth it, because saving money nowadays. I try not to be political, but I'm just going to go ahead and say it. The guy we have in the White House now, he absolutely believes in income equality. He wants everyone to be freaking broke. So that's where we're headed. All these people who make no money, well, congratulations. Nobody else is going to be making any money either. So everything is becoming... I mean, we went to the store today and we couldn't find chicken.
Well, it was limited to one per customer also.
Chicken. I mean, there's Case Farms. I could almost walk to a chicken farm.
Well, they probably don't have any help to process it.
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it, besides the whole trucker thing is
debacle.
A lot of,
The whole trucker debacle, because gas prices, and I don't think people realize.
Diesel's not went up. I watch
the
price. No, I watch the price every day. Diesel was always way more than unleaded, and diesel's been $4.29 for months. As unleaded's just going up and up and up.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was going to say that. I was going to say it, but I'm not now. No, I'm kidding.
Care.
I was going to say that I don't think people realize just how important truckers are. Our entire society is built on trucking. Nobody uses trains that much anymore. It is trucking. So if the trucking industry goes down or gets halted, I mean, you think the ship sitting in the Pacific Ocean is a problem. Wait till there's no trucks or truck drivers. I mean, this is a big, big deal. Everything, every store, every company, everything uses the trucking industry to get their products and or get the products they need to make their products. I mean, this is, I don't know how to say it. Not every neighborhood has a guy in that neighborhood that sells eggs and has dairy cows. The trucking industry is huge, and if we don't wake up and start protecting some of these infrastructures, we're going to be really, really heading towards some seriously bad times. Because it's like the water sewer department. It's one of those things we take for granted. You go to the bathroom, you flush the toilet runs some water, and your stuff goes away. What if that gets shut down? How many people have the ability to collect water other than a spigot?
Right.
Very, very few. Now, I have a creek down the road. I suppose I can bail up some water, boil it, and clean it. But believe me, I'd much rather just turn on the spigot. Trucking is one of those industries. We are built on it. Anyways, I just thought I'd bitch about that for a minute.
Okay.
We really need to be careful. Just because we want equality doesn't mean that it exists. Anyways, okay. So, anything else you want to talk about?
No, not on the gas front. That was pretty much it.
Okay. So, take a minute, look into some of these apps, maybe try to find some programs, and you'd be amazed you could probably save quite a bit of money. Because electric cars are expensive. Believe me, I'd like to have a Tesla myself, but they're not cheap. I don't have $40,000 for their lowest model.
Is that 40? Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say the ones we were looking at were 70.
Yeah, but that's because you want the SUV.
Wow.
And it has celebration mode.
I know. Yeah, but that's okay. It's worth it. But my big thing with that is, how are you going to drive across country?
You can't.
Yeah.
You have to make several stops.
I mean,
I think you can get, this is the one thing I don't know, because I don't own one. So if you're out there and you have an electric car, I'm not talking about a Prius, because a Prius has gasoline that kicks in at sometimes. But if you have an all-electric car, is it really truly 300 miles a charge, or does it depend on if you're using your air conditioning, heated seats, lights? Because to me, anything that uses electricity is going to be taking electricity from the batteries.
Mm-hmm.
So, just curious.
Well, here's my question on that. If you got an all-electric vehicle and it tells you, okay, you're going to get 300 miles or that, does the navigation system show you where a charging station may be? Or are you just like, when I used to drive out of Albuquerque, it'd say, last gas for 400 miles.
Yeah.
So I mean, how do you know? Are there maps, or is it built into the GPS system?
I don't know, just carry an extension cord and pull into someone's house. I'm sorry to bother you. Can I borrow some electricity?
I mean, I saw that one. It's a little plaza right up by work, and it's got a donut place, a tea place, a couple nail salons, and
I know that
a restaurant, and they put a charging station in there.
Yeah. They need to come up with a way to charge while you're in line at Starbucks.
Yeah,
Something that, just kind of pops up, or a railing system like the old rail cars in San Francisco. Just a way as you're sitting in line, you're charging.
Or like they used to, before Jess moved to Wisconsin, all the places, they had to put their batteries on tenders in the winter so they wouldn't freeze. And you would just pull up and there'd be an extension cord.
Yeah.
Kind of like the diesel truck at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know,
anyway.
but let us know if you have a Tesla. Let us know how that works. Or any brand. It doesn't have to be Tesla.
And if you like the Tesla.
Yeah. I like Elon Musk, but that doesn't mean I'm ready to get rid of the gasoline car just yet. But, okay, what else do we have to talk about?
Oh, we were going to talk about debt consolidation and how to save money on your bills.
This is a big one, peeps. Might want to listen up.
So I've done this twice, and we're about ready to do it on a third time. And I had read this years ago on anything, like if somebody's offering something free, or Amazon, you can get a premium channel for $1 for a month. All the experts, and that was just off Google or off the internet, they said, take advantage. If you think it's too good to be true, it might be, but it's probably not. So we take advantage of all those $1 premium movies for a month. You just always have to remember to cancel them or you get charged.
Yeah.
So the same thing with debt consolidation. And a lot of them are good. There's even some websites that are for bad credit. So don't think if you have bad credit or you've just filed bankruptcy that you're not eligible. Actually, right after you file bankruptcy, you get a ton of these. And all they do, they want to consolidate your debt. And usually their interest rate is based on your credit score. So I don't know where they start, 500 or so.
Is there a way to research that to like make sure you don't get ripped off? Judge some according to others?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, like if you just filed bankruptcy and you said that the interest rate is based on your credit score or something like that, is there a way that you can like prepare before, so you can tell the bad deals from the good deals?
Well, yeah, they usually all have like a payment calculator. You plug in your stuff, and usually you have to give them your social security number because they're legit, and then they'll tell you what interest they're going to offer you and how much your payments will be.
Okay.
But the point is, we did it one time, and we just paid it off. And so, of course, we had like a couple credit cards, say your Visa card or your bank MasterCard or whatever, or Amazon. We love Amazon, but their credit card's like 24% interest a month.
Yeah.
So I get this offer, and you have to research and you have to Google who's real and who's not. And honestly, all the ones that I found, the real ones, are all the ones that fell when the economy collapsed years ago, like Marcus Goldman, Discover, Wells Fargo, and those are all the big ones. And then I'll give you a list. I have some other ones out of the Nerd Wallet. But they offer you, we consolidated all those high interest credit cards, 23%, 24%, and they gave us a rate of like 9% interest.
Nice.
So you can't beat it. Well, one first was 12%. Okay, so you do that and you pay it off. And even if you pay it off for half the time, then all of a sudden you're getting an offer from somebody else. And they want to give you a little bit cheaper interest. Well, you do it. Just do it. As long as it's a reputable company, a legitimate offer. Yeah. And you just keep...
Pay off a consolidation loan with a new consolidation loan to get a lower rate.
Yeah, so say you're paying $500 a month, 12% interest, and somebody else offers you they'll take over that loan. You can usually punch in how much you need, and they'll give it to you for 4% interest. Well, still pay that $500, even if they're offering you a lower monthly payment. Keep paying the $500 a month, and you're paying more on the principal, and you get paid off quicker.
That's another thing. When you're considering these things, you want to add up how much all of your monthly bills are. We're talking everything. Try to figure out your food, your gas, your electric, your rent or mortgage. Get an idea of how much per month is going out and how much per month is coming in. And then you can work with those numbers. If you look at the one that has a lower interest rate and you pay off, say, 3 credit cards with this one, then you combine all the numbers and make sure that you're actually saving some money in the long run. Either that, or you don't mind paying some more to get it paid off quickly. Like I know our Amazon card, as soon as we pay it off, we put more on it. So it's just always has a debt.
We got rid of the Amazon card.
I'm sorry, I meant the card that we have connected with Amazon.
Yes.
So that's why we do it, because we buy a lot of stuff from Amazon because we live in a retail black hole here in Ohio. You just can't find a lot of stuff. But yeah, you sit down, you take a day, and you figure up, once you got a total of how much you pay per month. And remember, there's car insurance, gas. You can tally all that up if you take a week and pay attention, and anyways, and then you get a number, and then you can work with that. You can kind of just balance it out and say, if we get this loan, we'll pay off these 2 credit cards, the monthly payment. Because there's a difference between, when it comes to a credit card, remember, there's a difference between a minimum payment and paying enough to pay off the principal. Your minimum payment on a credit card very rarely puts any amount of money on the actual debt.
It'll put a few dollars.
Yeah, you're pretty much just paying off the interest. So the credit card debt never goes away unless you start paying more. And the more you pay over minimum, the more comes off that debt. So credit consolidation could help in that very instant.
Yes. What I did when I did it was I took all our credit cards. I didn't even pay in, because insurance you got to pay, rent you got to pay, mortgage you got to pay, cable you got to pay, phone bill you got to pay. So I took our numerous credit cards, sad to say, but there were numerous. So I listed them all down, listed the balance on all of them, listed what the minimum payment was. So say we added them up and it said we owe $20,000 between 6 credit cards. Okay, so then I added up the minimum payments on each, and say it came to $700, okay, because they're high interest, so you got to pay more. So I looked around and got an ad, and we actually went with Marcus Goldman, and NerdWallet says they're the best. They charge no fees. A lot of times if you transfer, like right now I got an offer from MGM Grand credit card to transfer all my balances to there, but you got to pay.
See how bad we are? We even have an MGM MasterCard.
But you got to pay 5%. So say I want to transfer $1,000, you got to pay $50. You got to pay 5%. Yeah. So if you're transferring a big amount, that adds up. So Marcus Goldman and several others have no fee. So then you apply. So, and all these regular credit cards, when I was adding them up, they're all 23 or 24% interest.
Yeah.
So I look at Marcus Goldman and think, okay, I'm already paying $700 a month. So I got a loan from them for the $20,000 to pay off all those. Payment's only $500 a month, and the interest is like 8%. So it's a no-win, and
it's a no.
Oh, sorry. So it's win-win.
It's a win-win. It's a no-win. We're just screwed.
But the big thing you got to do is make sure, is there a penalty to pay it off early? Sometimes your car loan, you can't pay it off early because they want that interest. Some of the older loans, like our lease on the car, you can't pay it off early because they want that monthly money. So
yes.
Most of the debt consolidation anymore are they do not charge if you pay it off early.
That's another thing I want to bring in. I'll just interrupt for a second. When it comes to looking for a car, make sure you get your monthly payment from both buying the car and or leasing the car. Now, leasing is renting the car. So you either have to give it back when the lease is up or you can buy it. But if you buy it when the lease is up, you're buying a used car with X amount of miles. So a lot of times the payments will then become affordable. But you have to check. Sometimes certain models have better deals on leasing and certain models have better deals on buying. So I'll just just ask when you're at the dealership, whether it's a crappy dealership or a reputable one. Ask. I don't mind if I lease or buy. Tell me the differences between the two and the monthly payments, and then they should explain everything.
And one thing on that we didn't know as we're leasing this car, nothing's included anymore. We got to change the oil. We got to change wiper blades.
That was always included. Yeah.
I always thought.
No,
when I leased a car.
When I leased my Mini Cooper in 2004, the only thing that was covered was stuff that was covered under the warranty.
Oh, all right.
So that's the difference. Sorry, if you didn't know, you can't lease a used vehicle, okay? Because what you're doing is you're renting the vehicle as long as it's covered under warranty, right? So you have to lease a brand new vehicle. So if you're in the market for a used car, then don't bother asking about leasing. But if you just need a car, like we just needed a car. The car we had was bad, the engine was bad, and we needed a car. So I basically said, what will you give me for the bad car, and what could I get? And we just crossed every bridge, and as it turned out, it cost as much to lease a brand new vehicle as it did to buy a used vehicle. So we do have to cross the bridge in a year and a half. Do we want to buy this vehicle, or do we just want to hand them the keys and then you walk away? So yes, we have lost that $400 a month, but we had a brand new vehicle that was covered under warranty that provided us perfect transportation for those 4 years. So it's not, the way I see it, it's not a bad investment. You have a brand new vehicle that's covered under warranty, if something were to happen. And then you can either, again, give the keys back and start fresh with another lease or buy a used car. Or if you really like it and you took care of it, I'm going to see what it costs to buy this car. Now it is used, and you know the history. Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to point that out.
That's all right. I'm used to it. All right. So that's pretty it on debt consolidation. Make sure you get a lower interest rate. Take all your high interest credit cards. Make sure you can pay it off early, because that's always good. And you can just we're getting ready. We paid off one, and we're getting ready to switch everything to another one. So,
and anyone can do this. This is something you can do if you've had a rough go.
Yes.
And you're poor. It doesn't mean you're going to get the greatest deals and you're going to fix this stuff overnight. But again, if you watch your monthly payments and how much you're making, you can help yourself and you can get out of this mess sooner than if you just winged it.
Right. So I've used NerdWallet before, and that's what you got for investing. So they have ratings on debt consolidation loans. So they have a place called Upgrade. They give it 5 stars, and it says that's what they consider the best overall one. Estimated interest rates go from 6% to 35%, and they'll go a minimum credit score of 560. And this is a good website because you can just go there and you can hit on each one and get a rate of what yours going to be. They also recommend SoFi, S-O-F-I, best for no fees. They also give it a 5-point rating. It goes the same, 6 to 20% interest, and minimum credit score is 680. Marcus, that I like, they're best for no fees. They go 7 to 20% interest, and credit rating 660 and up. There's also
that's a pretty high credit rating.
Well, the Upgrade that they're recommending first actually goes 560.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, once you apply for one of these and get it, your credit rate drops.
Yeah.
And then you go and pay off all the stuff you were consolidating, it goes right back up on the next thing.
It's definitely one of those things that if you're interested in fixing your credit and or monthly payments, you have to just kind of, I don't want to say slum it, but you have to cut back. Eating out constantly costs a fortune. Making road trips when you could just kind of walk down the street, that costs. I mean, what I'm saying is if you're looking to consolidate your bills to get ahead, that's fine. But if you're one of these people who kind of got yourself into a bind and you need to get yourself out, you need to make some cutbacks financially. Get rid of every single channel if you have Amazon,
There's a lot of cell phones, too. You can always...
cell phones. Cell phones can get real expensive real quick.
And
knock it off buying the brand new phone as soon as it comes out. You don't need the newest and the greatest. My phone is 10 years old and it still works. Mm-hmm. It still works. Like the apps still work on it. So it's just one of those things, And I'm thinking about upgrading, and I'm not going to Verizon. I'm going to go to Amazon. I can get it. I think it's a TLC. I think that's the name of the brand for like $100. I'm not gonna spend $800. I'm not gonna spend $800 on a phone when I can buy a brand new one for $150.
Oh, yeah. Well, you like your track phone, too, that you paid $60
That's
for.
what I'm talking about. It's
Oh,
10 years
okay.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out as a track phone, and it was better than my Verizon phone. So I said, hey, swap the SIM cards, and now my track phone is my everyday Verizon phone.
All right, so some other places, and it's all on nerdwallet.com. You got a place called Payoff. You've got Lightstream. They actually show the lowest interest rates. Or no, actually Upstart, and they claim they're the best for bad credit. And they have no minimum credit score required. Now you're going to pay.
So if your credit score is 25,
you're probably going to pay the 35% interest, but
right.
You pay it off and you get your credit score up, and then you go from there.
Yeah.
All right, there's a place called Best Egg. Best for secured loan options. That'd be like if you're going to go get a car or something like that. And Discover Personal Loans. They have fast funding. They'll get you the money like in an hour. And another place called Freedom Plus, which is best for discounts, rate discounts.
Another thing, I'm going to interrupt one more time.
You always do.
Please stay away from the cash advance places.
Oh, yeah.
These literally are legal scams. You say you need cash, trust me, you will pay tenfold. Okay, yeah, they'll get you some cash that day, but you will pay. And then I used to work for a repo lot. And I literally can't tell you how many cars we got in there because these people would go to these cash advance places and put their car up for collateral. And guess what? You can't pay them back. They want that car. They grab the car and then they auction it. I'm just saying, they're bad, bad places.
Oh, and right here on NerdWallet it says, a debt consolidation loan combines multiple unsecured debts such as credit cards, medical bills, and payday loans. So there you go. So anyway, nerdwallet.com. I've used Marcus Goldman. I like them. They are, not that I'm promoting them, but at the time they gave me the best interest rate, and they do a thing if you make 12 payments on time, you get 1 month with no interest. Like I took mine at Christmas the 1 year just so I didn't have to pay out the bill right before Christmas. But yeah, it's all right there. It's a good website. They're all there. They have their best picks, interest rates, and you can just click on them and get your information right there.
Sweet.
Okay.
Help yourself out. All right. Well, we have 32 minutes. How about that? That's not kind of nice. I don't know if I'm going to be able to fill up 32 minutes with this, but I know that whenever we're going to talk about financial things, investing comes to mind. I know that there are a lot of apps that talk about investing. So I wanted to kind of cover this. However, disclaimer, I'm going to be reading this, and you all know how horrible that works. So I'm going to read nice and slow, and I'm going to do my best.
Maybe I should find the website.
I think you should.
Where are you?
nerdwallet.com/article/investing for beginners. I Googled investing for beginners, and it came up.
Okay.
And I also have another website I'm going to be reading from called annuity.org. And it basically also says investing for beginners. And then I brought up a Google search because I couldn't seem to find this answer. How much money is needed to invest, like a beginning amount? And that really didn't get answered, but we could search here together. Oh. But again, I know nothing about this, so I'm going to be reading this and kind of learning along with you. If we get anything wrong, hit us up. Let us know. OhioGripe@gmail.com. You can call us on the Gripe phone, which I don't have that number available at the moment.
I don't either.
And I never did call Track Phone. We talked last week about how Track Phone gave us a new number and gave the old number to someone. Mm-hmm. Someone has that number, and I think that's horribly irresponsible because whoever has that number is going to be screwed. Because we were already getting tons of spam calls and robocalls because I put the number online and I talked about it here on the website. So, anyways, I think they really screwed up. And I was going to call that number and say, you might want to ask for a new number. But I never did, so I guess I'm just as bad as Track Phone. But anyways, okay, so I typed in investing for beginners. And usually Google, you know how Google works. You get 1,200 ads, which means somebody paid Google to put their stuff first. You go down. NerdWallet is the first one. Beginner investing, 6 ways to get started. Next one is a complete guide to investing for beginners. That's from Annuity, and I brought up those two. So let's start with NerdWallet. Investing for beginners. Excuse me. All right, here we go. The biggest misconception about investing is that it reserved for only the rich. That might have been true in the past, but that barrier to it's starting already. But that barrier to entry is gone today, knocked down by companies and services that have made it their mission to make investing options available for everyone, including beginners and those who have just small amounts of money to put to work. In fact, with so many investments now available to beginners, there's no excuse to skip out, so you better do it. I'm kidding. And that's good news, because investing is a great way to grow your wealth. Why is investing important? We're not going to bother going in that. Nobody cares why it's important. They just want to know how much money they can make. So what beginners should consider before you jump in, there are things you need to think about. Your goals and time horizon. I'm not exactly sure what time horizon means.
Probably when you want to retire.
Okay.
How long you have to invest this money before you're going to retire and need to pull it out.
Okay. I was going to replace horizon with timeline, but
yeah, most people that invest think they're investing towards their retirement.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know. I couldn't find your website, so go ahead.
All right. Consider what goal. I think you're right, because it says consider what goal you are wanting to achieve by investing and your time horizon, the length of time you have to invest before reaching that goal. If the time horizon to your goal is short, investing might not be the best solution for you. And it says check out an article, but we don't have time to do that. Now, the next thing is risk tolerance and diversification.
Oh, yes, I know.
I'm so glad I got that word out. Usually I'm like, but all investments have some level of risk, and the market is volatile. It moves up and down over time. It's important for you to understand your personal risk tolerance. This means gauging how comfortable you are with risk and how much volatility. Thank you so much. You can handle. I don't know how you come up with that. Maybe the website will talk about it a little later.
As you get older, you want lower risk. Me and you, middle age, we're in middle cap. If you're young and going to be investing on a long time, and I'm talking to this from like our 401k meetings.
Okay.
If you're young, you can invest in a high risk, which means you might it might build a lot of money, or something might happen. You might lose a lot of money, but then you have a lot of time for it to come back up.
Okay. So basically, the way it works is if you have more time, you can lose a lot if something goes bad, but you have time to build it back.
Yes.
Or if you don't have a lot of time, you want to go something safer that may not make as much money as quickly.
Yeah, like they usually call it a mid cap.
All right. Now, moving right on, our dogs are having a conniption fit out there. 6 investments for beginners. Here are 6 investments that are well suited for beginner investors. Number 1 is 401k from your employer. I think most people who have a job kind of know about that, or can find out from their HR. Number 2 is a robo-advisor, okay? And number 3, target date mutual funds. I don't know what that is. I'm not going to number. Just the next one is target funds, or I'm sorry, index funds. Don't know what those are either. Exchange trade funds, or ETFs. Don't know what those are. Investment apps. I imagine that's phone apps that you put your money into. Okay. Number 1, 401k. I'm not going to go into that because if you don't know what a 401k is, if you have a job, you can just go to your boss or your HR department and they'll explain it to you. Basically, you and your company both invest in this firm that the company picks.
Yes. Our company, we've got a board of employees, upper management. They get together. They picked a brokerage fund.
Yeah.
It's all separate from work and everything. They take care of our money.
All right. Now we're going to go right into the robo-advisor, which sounds really weird, and it is. Maybe you're on this page to eat your peas, so to speak. Yeah, I don't know what that means either. You know you're supposed to invest. You've managed to scrap together a little bit of money to do so, but you would rather just wash your hands of the whole situation. We're going to ignore that entire paragraph to move on. There's good news. You can largely... I'm a dumbass. I'm sorry. You largely can, thanks to robo-advisors. These service manage your investments for your using computer algorithms. So basically, it's a computer algorithm that chooses what investments your money goes into.
Oh, I don't
that
like
is
that.
extremely red flag to me, but I mean, you just have to research it, make sure that they get good, because I don't know everything. I just know that I don't like algorithms, but it says a robo-advisor typically costs between 0.25 to 0.50. So that's 1/4 to 1/2 of a percentage of your account balance per year. And many allow you to open up account with no minimum money. So like, $100, $5, 50 cents. They're a great way for beginners to get started investing because they often require very little money and they do most of the work for you. That's not to say you shouldn't keep your eyes on your account. This is your money. You never want to be completely hands-off, but a robo-advisor will do the heavy lifting. And if you're interested in learning how to invest, but you need a little help getting up to speed, robo-advisors can help there too. It's useful to see how the service constructs a portfolio. And I lost my place. And what investments are used. Some services also offer educational content and tools, and few even allow you to customize your portfolio to a degree if you wish to experiment a bit in the future. So that's Robo. I imagine that's an app or a website. Okay, number 3 was target date mutual funds. I don't know what these are.
I think, are those like a CD, like you've got Aunt so-and-so died, she left you $1,000. You want to put it in a CD to build a little bit of interest. Remember back in the day, savings accounts used to actually build interest?
Yeah.
Well, now you could put it like in a CD.
Sorry, millennials. That's something that has died and gone to the wayside.
And usually they're for like 6 months and you won't make hardly any, or you could put it in for like 1 year.
Yeah.
I know people that have done that, so.
Okay, well, this says there are these. Okay, sorry, I got really turned around. Target date mutual funds. These are kind of like robo-advisor of your. I don't know what that word means, so there you go. They're still widely used and incredibly popular, especially in employer retirement plans. Target date mutual funds are retirement investments that automatically invest you with your estimate retirement year in mind.
Oh.
Yeah, so let's get back up a little and explain what a mutual fund is. Essentially, a basket of investments. Okay, investors buy a share in the fund, and in doing so, they invest in all the fund's holdings with one transaction. A professional manager typically chooses how the funds is invested. Making any sense?
No, I just don't. I really zoned out.
It is. Oh, that's perfect. Well, it isn't making any sense to me either. I swear I'm reading it as it's written.
I know.
Okay.
The dogs are not happy. Didn't you say earlier you had read pretty much you don't have to have a lot of money to invest?
Well, I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm just reading some of these so you can you can always research these on your own, and I recommend you do so. Don't just I'm not giving any advice. I'm just reading what this website says. A target date mutual fund often holds a mix of stocks and bonds. If you plan to retire in 30 years, you could choose a target date fund with 2050 or 2055 in the name. Okay, I don't know what that means.
Okay, that's when we first set up our 401ks. They take your age time, what age, usually I think they use 65 as a retirement date.
Yeah.
And so they take however old you are minus 65 and then go forward to what your target date of retirement would be.
Okay. That fund will initially hold most stocks since your retirement date is far away, and the stocks return tend to be higher over long term. All right. Over time, it will slowly shift from the risky stuff to the non-risky stuff. How's that? Following the general guideline that you want to take a bit less risk when you close retirement. Now, there was another website that gave us kind of an interesting. There it is. Okay, the 120 rule for investing. Okay. Basically, it's important to note that these investments do not include your emergency savings account. Financial planners suggest allocating 3 to 12 months of take-home pay and savings for emergencies such as job loss. Now, this is interesting. It's a little graph. It says the 120 rule for investing. Subtract your age from 120. The resulting number is the percentage of money you should place in stocks. The rest go in bonds. Remember, stocks are more risky than bonds. So let's say if you're 30 years old, 120 minus 30 equals 90. 90% in stocks and 10% in bonds. For my wife and I here,
we're not saying our age.
I'm 48, so 50 years old, which is only 2 years off. 120 minus 50 equals 70. 70% in stocks and 30% in bonds. They call that the 120 rule. And it's an interesting way to start. Now I saw that graph there on annuity.org, and I'll be reading from there in a second. Moving on to index funds. Index funds are like mutual funds on autopilot. Rather than employing a professional manager to build and maintain a fund portfolio of investments, index funds track a market index. Not sure what that means. I don't know what a market index is. It's going to tell us right now. A market index is a selection of investments that represent a proportion of proportion of the market.
A portion.
Yes. What's the difference? Portion and proportion.
Proportion is like you're not proportioned right. You're proportioned right is like a Barbie doll. 34, 20, 36.
Oh.
That's, evenly proportioned.
Sorry, peeps. English is not my great language. I'm better at grunts. Okay. So, a portion of the market. For example, the S&P 500 is a market index that holds the stocks of roughly 500 of the largest companies in the U.S. An S&P index fund would aim to mirror the performance of the S&P 500, buying the stocks in that index. Did that make any sense? It didn't to me. Because index funds take a passive... What the heck was that?
I was seeing. I thought the dogs carried a mouse.
Sorry.
I thought the dogs carried a mouse.
I forgot to tell you, she's an inhaler. She will suck wind in a minute.
There, Sully.
All right, we're going to yell at the dogs now.
Well, they brought a big something in and they're sitting over there eating
I'm
it.
sure it's a, probably stomped on piece of poop or something.
Yay.
All right. I don't even know where I was. Because the index funds take a passive approach to investing by tracking a market index rather than using professional portfolio management, they tend to carry lower expense ratios. A fee charged based on the amount you have invested than mutual funds. I'm sorry. But like most funds, investors can invest in index funds are buying a chunk of the market in one transaction. All right. So I'm doing a horrible job explaining these, so I'm just going to move on to the next one, and we'll butcher that one, and then we'll move on to the next one. This will be a debauchery of unlike anything you've ever heard before.
Nobody will ever want to invest any money.
I know. You should research this on your own. But the main thing here is it's not as scary as it seems, and there's a lot of ways to do it.
If your work offers a 401k, you need to get in it. That'd be my advice. My older brothers have told me that, and as soon as you can get in it, and you know what? You don't really miss the money. Even if you put $10, $20 in, you'd be surprised, especially if you're young.
Yeah.
By the time you're ready to retire. And if you're not planning on staying at that job all the time, you take that money with you. There's ways to roll it over into a new 401k. Just if you quit your job and you get a check from your 401k for like $10,000, don't cash it, or you're going to be feed all over the place. You're going to lose half of it to fees.
That's right. All right, the next one is exchange trade funds, or ETFs. ETFs operate in many of the same ways as index funds. These are basically just all the same. They typically track a market index and take a passive approach to investing. They also tend to have lower fees than mutual funds, just like an index fund. My God, this is all these funds and indexes. No wonder people don't do it. You can buy an ETF that tracks market index like the A&P 500. I guess and 500. The main difference between EFTs and index funds is rather than carrying a minimum investment, EFTs are traded throughout the day and investors buy them for share price, which, like stock price, can fluctuate. That share price is essentially the EFT's investment minimum. And depending on the fund, it can range from under $100 to $300 or more. So, yeah. All right, I'm just going to stop on that one because the next paragraph really doesn't explain anything. The next one is investment apps. That is very simple. Those are apps that you can get on your phone that you put money into, and they kind of invest for you. Now we're going to move on to annuity.org. This is also investing for beginners. It has a little bit different information. What kind of investing is right for me? It is important to determine why you are investing. Your investment goals will dictate what you invest in, how much money you invest, and for how long. Factors to consider when investing: your age, your income, your financial goals, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon. As we determined, that is the time until you retire. Now, I already talked about the little graph down there. So most people invest with retirement in mind. Why? Simply put, retirement is expensive. You can easily spend $1 million during the 20-year in retirement. Holy crap.
Well, that's assuming you retire at 65. I don't know many people that can afford to retire at 65.
Okay, according to many financial experts, investing now is a smart and simple way of reducing your chances of running out of money after exiting the workforce. I really kind of wanted to talk about investing as a way to make cash now. Like not exactly an income, but to supplement income. But apparently investing is more for long term.
Yes.
That's the way it's looking. So again, you might want to, because I mean, I'm almost thinking, what's the point of even continuing on? Because if it's just talking about retiring.
The only thing I know from personal experience is a short-term CD, or if they still have it, a money mutual account. You'd have to go talk to your banker. I know my mother had one of those. She invested some money, and then she got so much of an income per month out of it. And I think it was called a money mutual account.
Okay.
But if you want quick money like that, your probably best bet is go to your bank and talk to somebody about. Just tell them you want to invest some money and try to get interest out of it each month.
I know a lot of people that I work with talk about cryptocurrency. You buy it, wait for it to go, and then you sell it, and you can make a couple of bucks. I imagine all stocks are like that, but it doesn't sound like I'm going to be able to give you any information because all these websites I brought up are all talking about retirement. I do know that the sooner you start, the more money you'll have in the end. So if you're young, look into it. Just like I always say, just set a day aside to nothing but research and learn, educate yourself. It only takes a day to kind of, and I wouldn't go to YouTube first. If you do go to YouTube, I would check out the video and then try to find a website to cross-reference. There is so much bullshit on YouTube. I mean, you could click on this one video that sounds completely legit. It could be this guy who's just talking bullshit because he needs your click. And he's making money off of YouTube, and he's just talking complete shit. So watch a video and then look for websites that can, like I said, cross-reference and see if it's saying the same thing or if it's saying, don't do this. I'm not saying all YouTube videos are going to be lying to you, but I know that they're out there. So I would not start on YouTube. So the next thing I says, how much money is needed to start investing? Now, I did this on a Google search, which was kind of a mistake because they really didn't answer the question, although they have lots of answers for the question. This one just says most financial advisors saving between 10 and 15% of your annual income. A savings goal of, say, $500 a month amounts to 12% of your income, which is considered an appropriate amount for your income level. That makes no sense. I have no idea who what this website's talking to, or who they're using. I don't know if $500 is 12% of my income. I haven't done that math yet, so we're going to move on. Thanks, Google, for a whole bunch of nothing. How much money is needed to start investing? This is also kind of a cryptic answer. A recent survey from financial services app Twine found that 46% of millennials believe they needed at least $1,000 to start investing. Another 17% believe that they need at least $10,000 before they were able to invest. Overall, 56% assume they don't have enough money to invest themselves. So as you can see, once again, Google gave me an answer that was not an answer. And then I went down a little further and said, can I start investing with $100? Is $10 enough to invest in stocks? And I swear to God, this is the question. Is $10 enough to invest in stocks? This is Google's answer. However, I don't know if I've ever started a question or started with an answer with however, but they did. However, You don't need to be a billionaire to invest in stocks. In fact, it takes very little money, as little as $10, to purchase a stock. If you've done your homework, you can watch the stock blossom into a profit. Now, profit is subjective. It could become $11, and that is technically a profit. So, doesn't look like I have a lot of answers for you because I'm relying on the internet. You can start investing today with as little as $5. Here's how. That's time.com. Screw it. Live on the edge. Let's open it and see what it says. It'll probably be full of ads and pop-ups, and I won't be able to actually read it. You can start investing today with as little as $5. Here's how. Investing is one of the best ways to build wealth and to reach your long-term financial goals. Again, I think they're talking retirement. But when you just get started, you may have limited amount of money left over from each month to save and to invest. And unfortunately, it's easy to think that you can't get started with a small amount. And the dogs, once again.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing out there.
Okay, featured investing products of March 22. So this is extremely recently. Vanguard. Fees is 0.3, so it's 1/3%. Minimum, you need $50,000. Okay, we're moving on. Okay, moving on. Marcus, Goldman and Sachs. The fees are 0.35, so 35%, and you need a minimum of $1,000. That's doable. Marcus Invest, powered by Goldman and Sachs, and the expertise of our global investment professionals can help make you blah, 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 blah. All right, next down is Ameritrade. Zero fees, zero online commissions for U.S. exchange listed stocks and ETFs. If I didn't botch that, you should know what an ETF is. Acceptance service, blah, blah, blah. And you need zero to open. So you can probably just invest what you have. So that's Ameritrade. These are just websites. And Stash, STASH. That's also zero fees and zero starting fee. Or starting money.
How can you invest if you have zero money?
That's a really, really good question. I wish I had the answer. Okay. The next two is also Sophie, which I think you had mentioned. Active investing, that's also zero fee, and you don't have to have, let me see, all-in-one investing, including crypto. Download the app and get up to $1,000. So that's what it is. They give you a starting amount, which is really nice. I mean, they're going to give you $1,000. I mean, I'm sure they'll get their money back. That's the whole point. But still, get you up and running before you have to put any money of your own in there. And then Betterment. That's a 0.25% annual fee. That's an annual fee, whether you make money or not. And you could start as little as $10. So there's a couple of places to start. And again, this is just from time.com. How much money is needed to start investing? You might be surprised to learn that you can start investing with just about any amount of money. Many brokers require no minimum amount of money to get started. For example, a major online brokerage firm, Fidelity, and Schwab both have no account minimums. It's difficult for me to say. I can say it really quick, but I can't say minimum. Doesn't matter. I want to say M&M. Even if you invest only $10 per week or month, make a goal to make it $15 per week and month. And by the end of the year, you'll build and reach those benchmarks. Okay, that was just something someone said. Identify your investing goals. Yeah. And then, didn't I? What the hell? Okay, that's the same damn thing. So anyways, picking stocks to invest, that's something you have to look into yourself. Diversifying a small portfolio, again, that's something you will learn as you get started, and you could definitely research that online. Where to get invested. Let's see. How much time do we have? No, we have 2 minutes. One of the most important steps to getting started with investing is deciding where you'll Sorry, an ad popped up and my screen moved.
Oh, probably.
Deciding where you will actually invest. I'm using a Chromebook, and these ad pops up, and it makes the screen move. Duh, where was I? Today, there is no shortage of brokerage firms, that's very true, where you can start investing quickly. Next Advisor recommends online brokers like Vanguard, Fidelity, Schwab, because they make it easy to open an account online and have a wide variety of investments to choose from. For investors who prefer more hands-off approach, robo-advisor is also something to consider. We talked about that a little bit. Consistency is key. Oh, that's something we can talk about. When you first start investing, especially if you only have a small amount of money to work with, it is easy to feel that it is not enough money to make a difference. But just being consistent and building, that more important habit of investing is life-changing. So there you go. Consistency. Make a little bit of money a lot, meaning a little bit of money all the time, consistently, and it builds. Just like saving. You know, if you don't have a lot, put $2 in a savings account every paycheck. You know? I mean, do the math.
Oh, yeah, it adds up.
Yeah.
Because I've done that with medical bills years ago. And, you know, just keep them off my back. I paid them $5 a week, and eventually that $1,000 bill is gone. So, same
That's
thing
true.
with savings.
That's true. So there you go. There's a little bit of information. It's probably not great, but again, if you want us to revisit this, we can always research it offline, so to speak, and then revisit it. We can even try to get someone on. What was I saying? Get someone on the Gripe to give you a little bit more information, and we can ask questions for that. But it's just something interesting, you know, help you to save a buck in these hard times when.
It costs a fortune to do anything.
Yeah.
And eventually,
I was trying to think of a way to put it, but yeah.
Well, yeah, and summer's coming. You might want to go on a little trip. You might want to have money to go get an ice cream.
Yeah, we'll see how much ice cream cones are. You have to pay $10 for an ice cream cone.
Well,
we got a problem.
Might not have the gas to get there. Might not be able to afford to.
Bicycles.
Yeah.
Let's start making mopeds. We
Yeah.
need to get mopeds back. I love mopeds. Mopeds are great. They get like 1,000 miles per gallon. They go 25 miles an hour. Get into a wreck with a moped. If you hit another moped, not going to do much. 25 miles an hour. If you get hit by a truck, you're going to be fucked up. But all right, peeps, we're going to sign off. So thanks for listening. And again, let us know how we're doing. Whether this was a boring one, a good one, give you some ideas. You want to come on and talk, whatever. All right, peace out. You want to say goodbye, Daddy?
Bye.
See you later.